Hello, everybody. It's so good to see people. I see Nick's W. I see Martha Cardial. It's so good to see you all. Silver Moon Tea Room. Guinness says hello to everybody. He's actually off with my daughter right now, so he's happily active and doing fun things. So he shouldn't be a contributor that I know of, but you never know. Hello, assez-vous. Hello, M. It's so good to see everybody. So while everybody is coming in, I want to run an idea by everybody. So I have a video that I'm working on that deals with the Markle Foundation. Now, the Markle Foundation, the more I look at it, like there's a lot going on there. And I want it to get a lot of views and whatnot. But if I put it on ORMV, historically, the Markle stuff, not only is it suppressed by YouTube, but it doesn't get as many views. So I'm thinking of putting it on my political channel. And so that's my thought. And I'm interested in hearing what you think, because if I put it on ORMV, it messes with ORMV's algorithms. But if I put it on OPMV, obviously fewer people are going to see it. So I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Do you have any points of view? Here, I'm going to also put in the chat. This is the link to my OPMV channel, which I'm slowly but surely moving my political videos over there so it messes less with the algorithm of the ORMV channel. And so anything that has sort of political stuff and that might deal with things that YouTube might not want to let out, shall we say, I'm going to start putting over on that OPMV channel. And it's not monetized, so obviously YouTube has less incentive, I guess, to suppress it. Maybe they'll pay a little less attention to it. But yeah, Markle video on the new channel. Yeah, that's a good idea, Silver Moon. But I've done that before and it still doesn't get anything. But I think that that's going to be the only way to do it for now. So, but that was my choice here tonight. I was either going to do a live on the Markle Foundation stuff, or I was going to do If You Let a Markle Lie. And I went for If You Let a Markle Lie. And if you know the video or the book, the children's book, if you give a mouse a cookie, well, then he's going to want a glass of milk. And if you give him a glass of milk, then he's going to want a peanut butter sandwich. And if you give him a peanut butter sandwich, then he's going to want a nice place to sleep, all that stuff. So basically saying if you let them get away with it, then they'll want something more the next time. And that's kind of what we have going with the Markles. If you let a Markle lie, then the next lie is going to get bigger and bigger. And that's how I kind of see things happening, is that the more we let the Markles get away with their lies, the bigger the lies seem to get. And just the crazier. I mean, if you saw my video about the interview between Lady C and Samantha, I mean, how many new stories did she come up with? I mean, out of the blue, it's once again, let's take all those previously assumed, you know, answers. Yeah, Martha, I do. I put stuff on Rumble too. But Rumble, again, it's hard to keep all three things uploading because none of them let you upload to one and apply it anywhere, unfortunately. So I've been trying to do the same thing on OPMV as I've been doing on Rumble, which is kind of put the videos there and let them just kind of gain sort of following just from having consistent video uploads and hoping from there, that kind of stuff. But so we're going to go through some of the Markle's lies. Like I said, how many new versions of stories did she come up with in her latest interview? And right there, you had Lady C say things like, "So we know that Trevor specifically said to Thomas Markle Jr. about the hysterectomy," and then 2 minutes later, Samantha says, "Well, we know that Trevor said it in an online article. Well, no one has ever found a credible report that Trevor has ever said anything. But we're supposed to believe that Trevor and Tom Jr. were so close that Trevor is telling him this private information? Is that what we're supposed to believe? Because I personally find that a little tough. But let's see what we have here. A couple things that we're going to go over today. Some fun stuff. All right, so this is what inspired me. And if you didn't see my post, if you've listened to any of my videos, you know that when you talk about the Constitution and you get it wrong, you're going to trigger me. So for Samantha to actually put it in her profile that she is, in fact, a constitutionalist, that triggered me. And it did. And now she also puts in here, who puts their height in their ex profile? I mean, put a one in the comments if you would ever put your height in your ex profile, and a two if you would never do that. Because I personally would never do that. So what? Where are we going with that? I don't get that. But needless to say, yeah, we got a two. Needless to say, Samantha has put constitutionalist, 5'10", MAGA, free speech advocate. hmm And we've all seen the video where she actually was saying that, social media platforms need to start using bio identification because no criminal should have privacy for free speech on a social media platform. Well, the part that she seems to miss out on is that nobody has been proven guilty of any of the things she claimed on a social media platform. And until you are proven guilty, you are considered innocent. Therefore, taking privacy away from everybody to what? Prosecute the few that are guilty before they have been proven guilty? Do I have that right? I mean, that whole thing seems a little backwards to me. But this is what triggered me. We have her saying she's a constitutionalist and she's listing all of her degrees. So I thought it was about time I really looked into those degrees. And I started with Samantha Markle's half sister, or Samantha Markle, Meghan Markle's half sister, earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in criminology psychology from the University of New Mexico. She also holds a Master of Arts degree in counseling from New Mexico Highlands. Additionally, she owns a Master of Arts degree in playwriting and screenwriting from Southern New Hampshire, which is also interesting because I also found that she has earned apparently a third master's degree in vocational rehabilitation counseling. But I've also seen that vocational rehabilitation counseling could be combined with the initial Master of Arts in counseling. See where the problem started here? That there are so many differing reports that I have no idea what to go with. Hey, Jam Scam, I hope the move is going well. I saw the empty apartment, you poor thing. I know that's tough, but I know that it's going to go good. But we have here all of these crazy different reports about what her degrees are. So, what did I discover? Well, believe it or not, and let me see if I can make this bigger. Mm-mm. Believe it or not, we can prove these degrees. And no one was more surprised by that than I was. But it seems she does, in fact, have these 2 degrees. Now, what I have to pay for each of these. So once I went with these, I didn't really bother about the one with the screenwriting and playwriting, although I do have a little bit more about that. But I didn't bother verifying that. I stuck with just these 2 degrees, and apparently, yes, they are in fact legitimate degrees. But what do we notice on this? Well, we notice that both degrees were awarded name on school's record, Samantha Rasmussen. See that? One Samantha M. Rasmussen, the other one Samantha Marie Rasmussen. So I then went back to the Royal Grift because she is the one that first kind of did that. Yeah, we're going to get to that, CC. No, no employment records whatsoever. But um, I went back to the Royal Grift because she is the one that first kind of took. And I love how the Royal Grift does things because she goes and she says, okay, this is what I have. I have this photo. How can I use this photo to make a point? And she always thinks outside the box and is able to prove things with things that I wouldn't have said were evidence of anything. So what she did was she took this. And if you notice here, the diploma that Samantha is holding, it has the seal on the top, then a whole bunch of blurry stuff we can't read. Now, that's when the Royal Griff went through and she went back and she found other photos of these degrees. Now you notice here, this is the University of New Mexico. This would be our bachelor's degree. So what photo, we know this couldn't be the bachelor's degree, right? Because the bachelor's degree has the seal on the bottom. See that? And now we know that that bachelor's degree can't actually be a real diploma because the school has on record Samantha Rasmussen. So she did lie. Now, whether or not you want to believe that someone might have been capable of going through and changing these records, that's that's for down the line. We'll deal with that on another day. But looking just at what I can verify through official sources, we have to assume Samantha has these 2 degrees. So why'd she lie about this photo? We know this photo can't be real because, or this diploma cannot be real because this is not a photo of her diploma. And you have to go back to the Royal Griff because she goes through it better, where she does prove that University of New Mexico, as well as I think it's New Mexico Highlands University or Northern New Mexico Highlands University, whatever it is. The seal should be on the bottom. So we know this photo is not real. Now what? Now what? Right? So, well, Allison, I paid off at the school, or does it go higher? No, my question. My question might be that it goes higher. Hello, Dell, my co-star from my last live. Absolutely a hit. Wonderful. Hopefully you'll come join us again in a little bit. Um, so we know this photo is a lie. Is a lie. I just read live, and so I said live instead of lie. We know this photo is a lie. We know this photo is a lie. We know that this degree couldn't happen because the University of New Mexico should say Samantha Rasmussen. So why did she change it? Well, my assumption is that she changed it because she wanted to prove supposedly that she's always gone by Markle, right? Wasn't it the argument of Meghan that she changed her name to Markle once Meghan was engaged to Harry, right? That's the story, so that she could capitalize on being a Markle. And Samantha said, no, no, I've always been a Markle. Look, my degree is a Markle. Well, we know that the diploma is not real. So what's different? What did she lie about? Did she lie about the whole diploma? Well, we proved that she did, in fact, get a degree from a Bachelor of Arts from the University of New Mexico. but she definitely should not have had Markle on it because her name on record at the school was Rasmussen. Now, what about this one? New Mexico Highlands University. That's the other one. Now, this one, she does in fact have Rasmussen, which is correct. That's what we found on the records that the school has on record. So her degree, therefore, would be the one that the school has on record. And this says counseling and guidance, nothing about vocational rehabilitation, just says professional and rehabilitation counseling. Okay, so maybe that's vocational rehabilitation. Now, I don't know about you. I happen to have a bachelor's degree and I have a master's degree. I don't ever get the degree incorrect, right? I know what my Master of Arts was in, and my Master of Arts is actually a Master of Arts in Teaching Social Studies. That's the full name of it, with a concentration in history. Now, I'm not going to get that wrong, right? So how does Samantha keep getting her degree wrong, the title of her degree? But I guess maybe that's nitpicking. Okay, so I'll take that. But you also get, hold on a second, Jody, would you be so kind as to take down that? Great, thank you. Because you can see, again, the seal is at the bottom, right? So this degree, this photo, could not be her master's degree because, again, the seal is on the bottom. And I'm going to go one better because New Mexico Highlands University is, in fact, online. So you get an online degree, you don't have a graduation ceremony. You don't walk when you are in an online degree program. Now, could the reason for faking this be that there was no graduation ceremony for Samantha because any degree she got was an online degree? I mean, because, University of New Mexico also has online degrees. Is that the reason? I mean, we could imagine for days what the reason for all of this might be. I mean, we obviously have no idea. But based on the information we are able to verify at this point, Samantha has 2 confirmable degrees. We'll go with that. But neither say Markle on the diploma, or neither should say Markle on the diploma. And that photo cannot be her with either of those degrees. I mean, do you agree with that? Are we good so far? Yeah, Megan's head in that graduation photo looks absolutely ridiculous because i- taking away the fact that her head looks too big, why does she have flowers in her hair? Why is she wearing a silky? That looks like she went to a club one night when she was in college. That does not look like what you would wear to your big sister's graduation. I mean, maybe that's just me. I have older siblings. I did not dress like that to any of their graduations. Yes, lie upon lie upon lie. So that's what I have with the degrees. I think right, we can prove this scene never happened. We can say she does in fact have 2 degrees, neither of which say Markle, and that makes this inaccurate and a lie. So why does she lie? Well, lie upon lie upon lie. So that's what we have so far. Now, hold on a second. Mm-mm. Where's my Markle's greatest hits? Yes, I do have a folder that is the Markle's greatest hits.
Lie upon lie upon lie.
So, so that leads me to a little bit more information about what Samantha has been doing since graduation. Like someone said, has she ever actually been employed as a counselor? Well, I have not found any evidence of that. I did, however, find evidence that she was self-employed in 2012. Apparently, it's a very old LLC of her own, Angels Redemption. Now, given her counseling, could we assume this was her doing something that is somehow counseling related? I mean, is that what we're supposed to think from this? Could you think that from this? That's what I thought from this. But let's see. No, of course not. Angel Redemption LLC. Hi, everyone. My name is Samantha Grant Markle. I love writing. So this apparently goes back to the screenwriting master's degree, playwriting and screenwriting. I love writing, and I am working on writing higher concept films. At the same time, have my sights set on finding a way, LOL, to be able to program a computer to bring characters and story to life without losing the essence of being, presumably being, human. That being said, I wonder if many artists in the industry will be out of work at some point because a computer programmer is able to play writer, director, costume designer, makeup artist, writing director. Oh, so you're putting dad's colleagues out of a job? Yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. Should we all just learn computer programming and CGI just in case? And interesting because here he is this, if we go back, because everything you got to go back to the previous thing. You go back here to the date of Angel's Redemption, August 2012, and then she went and got her screenwriting master's degree, right? Do I have this right? I mean, tell me. Put a 1 in the comments if this all adds up for you, and put a 2 if it doesn't, because something here just smells rotten in Denmark. We can look here, we can see what the supposed degrees all are. And again, according to this, she's got 3 master's degrees. 3. Now, New Mexico Highlands University found 1 when I verified, but okay. Yeah. 11111. You think that this sounds good? Oh, Claudia, if you think that this sounds all legit, I would love for you to come join. You want to come talk? We'd love to have you because I absolutely would love to hear the explanations for all of this. Come on, let's all encourage Claudia. Wouldn't that be great to hear someone defend it? Come on, I've dropped the link. Oh, okay. Too bad. Damn. I thought we had one. I thought we had someone who could explain it all to us. Well, thank you, Claudia. That would have been great, but thank you. Thank you for not agreeing, for not thinking that it makes sense. That actually makes me feel much better. All right. So if anybody does think this makes sense, please, we would love to have you. So there's more. Of course, there's always more. So, like New Mexico Highlands University online degree program, so is Southern New Hampshire University online degree. And believe it or not, and I know this is hard to believe, but I swear, I actually had at one time, while my kids were very young, and I was working from home in order to be home with my kids, I worked for a company that worked with online universities. I was an online writing tutor. And what it was, and I was able to do that through my master's degree, both in teaching and through the fact that my teaching subject was a subject that is high in writing. You know, it wasn't like I was a math teacher. So I was able to be a writing tutor, an online writing tutor. And what I did was I worked with all the students, because what it was as an online program, instead of them having a writing lab on campus, what they or through their program, I guess, they would contract out to us, and we were the students' writing lab. So they would come to us with their essays, and we would show them where they were making mistakes. For example, if they were not including a thesis or not properly expanding on their thesis or not providing enough examples. So I got to know the online university degree world pretty well doing that for about 6 years. So I know how these online universities work. And more than that, I know the level of work that comes from the online programs. Now, these are the online schools. I'm referring to the online schools that are just online degree programs. I'm not talking about, say, for example, the University of New Mexico that has some of your classes might be online. I'm talking about the programs where you do an entire degree program without ever stepping foot in a classroom and without being affiliated within mainstream degree programs within a school. I'm talking about places like Southern New Hampshire University Online, which is a separate division from Southern New Hampshire University. Okay. So, and there is a difference. And that's something that also most people wouldn't know. I only know this because online schools, I've worked with them a lot. So I know kind of the caliber of work that comes through these online degree programs. And not to say that you don't get this brilliant student every now and then that you're like, wow, you know, they're way above the norm. But most of them, and what I found most of, maybe it was because teaching was also kind of my focus. A lot of teachers in particular, there are some states that once you get a higher degree, you are automatically eligible for a higher um, a higher pay scale. So a lot of teachers will do these online degree programs and they half-ass them. You know, they just do it to get the degree so that they can boost their pay. So there's a lot of that, that even people who were of higher caliber education are just getting the degree to be to boost their pay scale, and they're just doing just enough to get the degree. So a lot of it is that as well. So not that necessarily the caliber is low, but the effort can be low in some products. In some, I'm sorry, I'm reading I'm reading comments as I talk. Apple product, there is a way to do it. I don't know if Jody, if you have it, if you are able to put the link to the membership. I can't do it right now. If I don't do it right now, if Jody's not able to do it, I will do it. I'll put a post on it later tonight. But some of these degree programs, like I said, some are good, some are bad, some the people have a lot more effort than they put into it, but you can get away with doing very little and the getting, you know, the degree. I'm not saying that that's the case with Samantha, but you know, you know how it goes. All right. So what else do we have here? So I found a little bit more about Samantha. Now, here is her IMDb. I look at this and I just have to laugh. Do we see her spouses, right? We see her spouses, Earl Hale, who she married in 1980 when she was a teenager. Now, is that before or after the rope swing accident? And was that before or after she was living in the Markle home after Megan was born, right? Because look at the date, 1980. Megan was supposedly born in 1981. So how was Samantha living at home with Doria and Megan when she was already supposedly married as a teenager? Does that make sense? Does any of this line up with any of the previous supposed? Oh, we'll get to Ashley. We'll get there. We'll get there. But, here, she's married in 1980 as a teenager. Now, you're marrying as a teenager, you kind of have to wonder. Yeah, she's not 5'10". You know what I really love, Jamba? You look at um, Thomas Markle Jr.'s IMDb, he's 5'9". Not only does she list 5'10" in her X profile, she had to be a inch taller than her brother. Like, uh, anyway, but 1980 for her supposed marriage, that would not align with Megan being born in 1981 and Samantha being there and taking care of Megan and taking her to school and Samantha being there as a high school student with Doria smoking cannabis on the front lawn. I mean, none of it would add up, right? None of it. None of it makes sense. None of it would correspond. But hmm, let's see. If their ages aren't right, and Megan was born in 1977, and then a couple years later, to get out of the family home, got married, that makes sense. Yeah, that might make a little more sense, don't you think? But who knows, right? Of course. Now, as for Ashley, I promise you, we're getting there. We're getting there. Now, the Royal Griff found some great photos. Now this one, you have Thomas, and who's that on his lap? Is that supposed to be Megan? Is that one of his sons? Is that Archie? I saw someone make a very good comparison between this photo, this person on his lap, with Archie when he was doing his first birthday, little, when she was reading him the book, you know? And that certainly looks like Archie, right? Now, wouldn't that be interesting? And this photo that the Royal Griff found, it was published in like 2017, 2018. She had the date in her video. I don't know exactly when it was, but it was around then. And of course, who got the photo credit, right? Of course, of course. Coleman Rayner, Jeff Rayner, whatever, whoever those people are. The same people that it's Jeff Rayner and Coleman Rayner, right? The same photographers that Samantha claims set up the Markles by Megan in order to arrange for the whole hubbub with the wedding, right? You know? No, I don't think Junior is Archie's father. No, no, no. Because this photo was from 2017. But I do think that it would be possible that whoever this is supposed to be, whether it's supposed to be Megan or it's supposed to be Tom Jr.'s sons, could this be a good template for Archie? Right? I mean, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe in Duck Duck Rabbit video. Oh, the Duck Duck. Oh, oh, oh. Um, the Duck Duck Rabbit. That's the book that she read. I was like, Julianne, what are you talking about, duck? Because of course, when you said duck, the first thing I thought of was that ridiculous video where she watches the ducks walk by. But yes, Duck Duck Rabbit was the name of the book. But yes, that to me, Munchie, photoshopped. Did they use this person or this child, whoever he may be, to create Archie? I mean, the whole thing. There's absolutely none of their photos that I see as genuine. Now, and the next thing, I put it in a video, and this was originally, Royal Griff found this photo at the same time. Now, I looked at this and I said, Megan, and I put that in my video. I said, I look at this and I just see Megan. I see Megan's face with Samantha's hair. But people on X did a brilliant job changing my mind. Now, the Royal Griff said she looks at it and she immediately sees Samantha. And I was like, no, 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 I see Megan. But if you look at this, well, now I see it, right? I do see Samantha in this. And I actually even see that one, two, three, fourth picture from the left or second picture from the right. Now, it does look a little bit like Samantha, which originally I said it didn't even look like her. But I do see that I see a stronger resemblance to Samantha. I mean, I still look at this photo and still think Megan. That looks like Megan with the freckles and the cheekbones and the nose and the mouth. I see Megan with Samantha's hair, but I more clearly see where I could be wrong, if that makes sense. And yeah, I mean, if they are truly related, then yeah. Oh yeah, he talks, can't get it when the book falls. Yeah, yeah, that whole thing, that duck duck rabbit thing. And what Duchess debuts her son to the world in a diaper? I mean, I debuted my kids to the world, which was admittedly a very limited world, just family and friends and stuff, with more care and effort than she did. Is this to say she's just normal, or is she just this lazy, or is it just that she's not a parent and can't understand that that would not be appropriate? I mean, I don't know what it is. It could be any of it. Any and all are possibilities. Now, let's talk about Ashley. You were all asking about it, and I said I'd go here, and I'm going here. Because in looking at photos of Megan and Ashley and Samantha, I started to notice some things. Now, if we see here this photo on the left, and when you look at it, and you can see the photo on the right, I highlighted the areas to look at. And when you do, it's very hard not to see the clear line, the clear circle around their face. And the thing is it's not just the hairline, which there is the very clear distinction where you see white and then different shade, right? You can see the distinct hairline changes on both of them. But the thing that got me is that you also see it on the side of Ashley's face. Now, I'm going to theorize a little bit here. If we presume Megan at any and all time is going to be wearing bronzer on her face, that line may not be odd for Megan. So is this, oh, Tammy, thank you so much. There are no children. There is no mansion. Just Kelly's place. Oh, Kelly's place. Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that potential. I've seen the photos that say that. Google Kelly's name and it's all Megan now. Love you. Thank you so much, sweetheart. That's so sweet of you. But yeah, I think you make a lot of strong points there, hard to argue with. But if you look at this photo where you see the lines on Ashley's face, was this a photo of Megan and someone where they just superimposed Ashley's face on it? Is that possible? And there's more. This photo, which we've seen many, many times. This is the photo that apparently proves that Megan truly loves and adores her beloved niece. Now, this is a wedding photo. Can we all agree there? I mean, this is a wedding photo. Ashley's in a wedding dress. She's got a bouquet. Does this look like something Megan in her 20s and 30s would wear to a wedding? I mean, this looks like a mother of the bride dress, someone who's maybe a little older. Would a young Megan wear this to her beloved niece's wedding? I'm not thinking that. I could never imagine that. But let's look at just the fact that Ashley is in what's clearly a wedding gown. She's holding a white bouquet. I mean, that's that is clearly a wedding photo. But she goes by Ashley Hale. Hale is her maiden name. And a married woman who may presumably have kids is going to go spend her Christmas with her aunt that she barely knows. I mean, and I have not found any evidence other than one or two articles that say Megan went to Ashley's wedding that indicate Ashley is married. And again, Ashley Hale. I mean, yes, women do keep their maiden name for professional reasons and whatnot, but not usually, the average person. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's a bigger thing now with the younger crowd. Yes, she is an immigration lawyer, and we'll get to that too. A different hand on her waistline. Yeah, nothing looks right about this photo to me unless it is a wedding photo. And if it's a wedding photo, I refuse to believe Megan would wear that muumuu to a wedding in her 20s and early 30s. Now, again, and this one, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Look closely at the hairlines. Because if you look at the places that the hairline, the highlighted areas in the photo on the left, and if you look at the photo on the left and then the one on the right, and you look at the strange and what I would call them, those are like photoshopping shadows, meaning it's something where you erased something from the photo or you changed something about the photo and there's a shadow of it. You didn't do it well. In other words, you were careless and you left something out. So that's what the two things on either side of, again, Ashley's cheek, um, that's what that indicates with the purple. But even if you just look at the hairlines, look at the line of distinction. And I think no, I didn't. Okay. I thought I put in a photo where I could zoom in a little bit better on the photo that is the two of them. Sorry, I had to cough there for a second. But um, to me, if I look at that hairline, once I see that distinct line, again, it looks like there were, yes, yep, absolutely, Tegan. And we see that a lot. And my favorite photo where you can see that is when she's the maid of honor for Lindsay Roth. And in that photo, that's not Megan's body. I can't see that being Megan's body. So that tells me Megan's face was photoshopped onto a photo of someone. And then the question is Ashley in the original photo? And I don't think it's even Ashley. And that's why I highlighted the two, what I see as shadows from around Ashley's face, is I think that was also glued on. And again, the only time you see, did she, Susan? I don't know. I mean, did she have implants for Deal or No Deal? I don't know if she had implants or if it's just that we are so used to seeing photoshopped photos. I don't know anymore. I think all of us could walk past Megan on the street and not recognize her because we've seen so many photoshopped photos that we wouldn't know. Yeah, Cece, when was this supposed wedding? That's just it. The only evidence I have seen that Ashley ever got married was when it says, um, and Meghan attended Ashley's wedding. So the only evidence that Ashley is married is when it compares, you know, it to yeah, she had a thicker face. I think she had a thicker face in the previous one, and that's the thing. That's why I think someone had to change the dimensions of her face to fit within the construct of whatever photo template they were using, and that's why I believe there are those shadows of careless photoshopping. That's what I think. Do with that what you will. Now, this exploration is where we start going into the Markle Foundation. Remember, I said at the beginning, if you came in late, you might have missed it. I said that I am working on another video about the Markle Foundation. And what I am working on is more of the connections that we see with the Markle Foundation. And this attorney, mhm, immigration attorney, might in some way be connected to the Markle Foundation. And so that's where the two connect. But like I said earlier, if you came in late, you might have missed it. Um, I said I will probably be uploading a video on the Markle Foundation to my OPMV channel. That's my Our Politics May Vary. It's my non-monetized channel. And the reason I will put it there, and I'm going to post a link for that OPMV channel, and the goal of that channel is just because YouTube suppresses all my political videos and it messes with my algorithms. So, and because I also think that generally not as many people are as interested in it, that, the um Harry and Meghan stuff just plays better. So for now, and I don't have the clout of the royal grift and the the proven track record that she has of people watching her videos, so that one or two political videos really mess with my algorithm. She's got that more leeway because she's had all the many videos. So I can't put out one political video and just take the hit of it, even if it means half the people see it. It's going to affect my algorithm, the percentage of my algorithm proportionately more than when, say, the Royal Grift does it. So I don't have that leeway. So in the meantime, I'm going to be putting political stuff onto OPMV. And because the Markle Foundation gets into the Aspen Institute and the Brookings Institute and all those very important members of the Biden and Obama administrations, that's why I am going to put my Markle Foundation video up there. It's going to get suppressed if I put it on RMV, and if I put it there, the suppression is going to then result in lower numbers, lower stats, affect my algorithm, the whole the whole cycle there, right? So that's why I'm covering this on Ashley, because if we're talking about a Markle, we gotta start talking about this, because where has this person disappeared to? And where's Noelle? And how come Christopher never said a word? I mean, and what happened to Tyler Dooley? And why do Tyler and Thomas Dooley use their mother's maiden name instead of using their father's name? I mean, there's so many questions about these children, not the least of which is that how come Thomas Markle Sr. never talks about any of these grandchildren and his estrangement with them, but constantly talks about how he never sees Archie and Lily, right? I mean, at the end of the day, that kind of is the defining factor, right? That's where we kind of come up with quite the conundrum, is that there's complete hypocrisy when you talk about Samantha and Thomas Jr.'s children, Thomas Sr., and where these children have all disappeared to. Tyler Dooley made a quick little, appearance in order to in order to, what was it? Um, advertise his Markle Sparkle. Does everybody know what the Markle Sparkle is? Is that I'm trying not to say what it is. but we can, of course, find a way to say it without saying it. If anybody doesn't know what the Markle Sparkle is, what is it? Do people know? Yeah. Yes, Kitty. Yes. That's it. Because that's what Tyler Dooley does. Yes, that's a much better way. Mary Jane, much better way to say it. Yes, he did. No, he didn't go on, was it with Lady C? I mean, he went on an MTV, I'm a Royal or something. I don't know. He did go on a reality show. I have a whole theory that those reality shows, they're just big networking. All of them know each other. And it doesn't matter if you went on a reality show with specifically Lady C's son, they all know each other, in my opinion. And that's more than just, Markle stuff. That's all those, reality shows, Big Brother, whatever, The Survivor, any of those. I think that they are all big networking and they all know each other and they use each other to get to know people, use people, get opportunities and whatever. And so whether he was actually on it with Lady C's son or not, and honestly, what was it? Junior was the first one to do a reality show, right? He did the Big Brother Australia. Once one of them was in that network, I believe they knew everybody, if that makes sense. But what do I know, right? Now, one more thing for you, and then hopefully someone will come up and talk to us. I see that there's someone who doesn't agree with us, and please don't block anyone. I look forward to going back and seeing their comments later. If anybody wants to explain why all of this makes sense and all of Samantha's conflicting degrees and whatnot, if someone has a way to explain that to us, please absolutely join us. Now, I did a video about this. Now, this, if you don't know, go watch the video that I did the other day, which was looking at the, yes, I know, looking at um, the alumni page for, for Immaculate Heart High School. And what I'm going to try and do here, and let me play this while I try and figure out how to share the Immaculate Heart page.
Lie upon lie upon lie.
That's just for fun. All right, here we go. I hope I do this right. All right. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Let me make sure. You are in fact seeing yeah, there we go. Okay, you're seeing what I'm seeing. This is the Immaculate Heart School website. Now, obviously, anybody who has taken a tiptoe through classmates.com, you know that the yearbooks from approximately 1990 to the year 2000 are not available for Immaculate Heart High School. Is that unusual? Yes, that's very unusual. But we'll go with it. So instead, we have to look at other ways that Immaculate Heart High School may or may not confirm or deny the timeline for Megan's attendance. Now, and it seems it's taking forever to load, but if you go to their Alumni Association, you can see that this happens to be the year that Immaculate Heart is doing their reunion for, these are the milestone years this year. So there is a way to go to just these, whatever, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years reunion pages, but I found a way to do something even better. Now, if you go here, these are the class banners for all the years of Immaculate Heart High School's existence. Now, originally, and this was someone, Angry Lemon Water, found this brilliant thing. And this was what my last video looked at. You go to the class of 1995 and you zoom in here. It's not going to let me zoom anymore. Well, some of it you may have to go actually to my video to see. But if you zoom in here, what you will find is this person, this is going to work. I got to do something better here. Hold on. Bear with me. Mm, mm. Now, if you were me, where would you have put that photo? There we go. Mhm, mm. It's not a video. Of course, you can't share a video. It's not a video. It's an image. Here we go. All right, there we go. That's a little bit better, right? You can see it better there. And if you see here, you can see that it goes from Sybil Mark to Liliana Flores to then, what's her name? Something, Jenny Mata, right? So my question and Angry Lemon Water's question was, did they take maybe someone whose last name comes between Mark and Mata and replace it with Liliana Flores? Well, as it turns out, the Royal Grift has identified Liliana Flores, and we don't know. Well, and the other thing, Lily Flowers, like, come on, Lily Flowers, for that to be what they would have replaced it with, like, that's pretty crazy, right? So the Royal Grift found that this person is actually, her last name is actually Mascaro, that Flores Mascaro is her last name. And so that automatically goes in between Mark and Mata. And why she would have not had that listed properly, potentially because of a hyphen, there might be a reason. Yes, they called Megan Flower, and didn't her mother also call her Lily? Now, for them to replace it with Liliana Flores, like that just seemed, again, once it's a coincidence, twice might be a coincidence, three times may be a coincidence, but when you get into this many coincidences, it's not a coincidence anymore. So we looked at this and we said, well, is this telling us something? But as I said, the Royal Grift has proven that this person does exist. And that was something, it was actually Jam Scam that gave me a great idea, because here I was trying to prove whether or not where Megan should have been there. And he was like, no, you have to prove something. You have to look at it from a different angle. And through what he told me, I said, that's it. Proving she exists would prove, because if she didn't exist, well, then you would have to question, where this picture came from and whether or not it was real. But by proving she did exist, it proves that this could be legitimate. And the fact that her last name ended up being Mascaro or Mascuri, something Moscato, something like that. But something that would fall alphabetically in between Mark and Mata, well, okay. Now we kind of understand it, right? So let's go back to this then. Sorry, it was giving me trouble adding that. Hopefully you can now see this. Okay, so let's go back to this. Now, one thing that you will notice if you look at this is the class of 1995. Trying to do this so you can see. There we go. Class of 1995. And you see here that all of the classes, and I can go through them all, and I'm going to go through a couple of them, but all of the classes, their banners all share a few things. They all share the class picture where you have them all on stage at graduation. They all share the photo that has them in the 9 and 5, in the year of their graduation. All of them have the, n- each person listed with their name in the little, portrait photos. But beyond that, they all have different, various candidates from, student body, you have, senior day, things like that, right? Now, if you look at this one in particular, and this is, remember, the class of 1995, if you zoom in, and I don't think it's going to let me zoom in anymore. I have better photos in my video. Let me see if I can do this again. Try and get those better pictures up. Here we go. This is the photo from um, the one of those photos that we just saw, and look at that. Director is, of course, Gigi. That is the friend of Lady C's. And you have the producer, Deborah Parker. And then you have lighting by Thomas Markle. Hmm, that's pretty definitive, right? Well, in 1995, presuming that Megan graduated in 1999, she would have been a freshman. And her father is contributing to the lighting and working with Gigi. But if you go through the cast, she's not in the cast. Hmm, interesting, right? That he is helping. I mean, I guess it's possible if she was still somehow involved in it, that somehow he was still doing the lighting. Okay, you know, all right. Then you see this is that year's musical. And lo and behold, we get Meghan Markle in the cast about midway through. So she's in this cast, but there's no lighting credit on this one. Hmm. This is still Gigi being the director, but you don't have any lighting credit. Now, is this because this is the musical and you have the vocal director and you have the music director, and so there were other people higher in the pecking order that needed to be acknowledged? Maybe. But, you know, well, that's interesting, Tegan, because I'm going to get to that. We'll get there. That's what Samantha said, in fact, in this most recent interview, right? And if that was the case, why didn't he do the lighting for this? But okay. Now, let's go back to the school banners because that's really the important part here. That the school banners. This is just pointing out things that I caught in these school banners. But it's actually the banners as a whole that I want to look at, right? So, as I said, you can go through and all these classes worth of banners. Now, the only one that shows the school productions for the year is 1995. You can go through. 1992, you have, remember I said, they all have the numbers, they all have the stage where they graduate, they all have the portrait pictures, but here you have senior life, the Christmas dance, student government, changes in the campus, class officers, nothing about the plays. Then you can go to 1993, same thing. You have the typical picture, the standing in the numbers, the portrait photos, class officers standing on the stage, and then just, random senior activities. But the only year that you can go through of all those years, well, I shouldn't say that. The only time in the 90s that they have the school plays was in 1995. The only year ever. You have here the senior officer, same thing, senior life. Um, in fact, if you look through these, they really don't have, here's the Christmas dance. They usually have the dance. They have a couple things, senior retreat, and then this is 94. And we already looked at 95. 96, you have same stuff, class officers, student government, senior activities, the prom. But you're noticing here, right? Nothing about school plays. The moonlight dance, the mother-daughter luncheon. No, same things, but never the school plays. But the only year that they have the school plays is 1995. Do you see where I'm going with this? That it seems manufactured. They took something that may have been legitimately in the yearbook in 1995 and added in where you have the name Meghan and Thomas Markle. So it doesn't prove that she wasn't there any other point in time. Doesn't prove that she didn't, graduate in 1999. Doesn't it seem a little bit odd that the only year that they could find Meghan in any sort of drama, play, musical was in 1995? And this is someone who's going to become, a world famous actor thanks to Suits. See what I'm saying here? I mean, it doesn't prove or disprove anything, but it certainly does raise questions, right? I mean, to me. And I think it was a great find of Angry Lemon Water to find those alumni pages, and I think it was a great find for the Royal Grift to identify Liliana Flores. But I I still have questions, right? I still wonder that things don't seem quite add up. So, what do you guys think? I know I've been talking, and it's because I've been looking at the screen I was sharing, so I couldn't see any comments or anything. Oh, oh yeah. Why didn't she turn up? Well, yeah, where was Dorito? Hunchback of Montecito. So I haven't really been looking through the comments because I've been looking at a different screen in order to do that. But does anyone want to come up and talk? I really want to hear you guys because I don't have that much more interesting stuff to say. But I'm happy to stay and chat with you guys if anyone wants to come up. Del. If anyone else wants to come up, anyone wants to join, was there not someone that was going to say that they might be able to explain away some of these oddities and inconsistencies? Anyone wants to do that, I think we would all be very happy. Who do we have? Ooh, Del! Hello,
Oh,
Del.
hello. I
You
may
are
disappear.
That's okay. You are famous here.
Oh,
Everybody loved you. Everyone got a kick out of you. I got so many comments about how wonderful you were, and you were with our last
oh,
live.
isn't that lovely?
Yes, and
Isn't,
everybody said, and I felt it too. We could have talked for hours here.
oh, well, we did. You were just about to go off, and I think we talked for another hour.
No, we could have. Yes, if I wasn't losing my voice, we could have.
It's really
So,
funny. We're both on the same channel. Both have
yes,
a very simpatico
we're on the same wavelength.
theory.
Yes. Now, what do you think about some of the stuff that I found?
Oh, God, you're going down a mighty rabbit hole there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's why I said I could have done like 3 different topics for this live. This is just the one that I
Yeah.
picked. But each rabbit hole with these people leads you to another hole you could jump down if you wanted to.
It's all yeah, and it's been fake from day one. I picked it up
I know,
way back. I picked it up in
I
the
know.
way back in when she stood in the garden saying they were engaged with that $45,000 stupid
Ugh,
nipple exposing
ugh.
engagement dress on. I thought, scrubber,
Yeah,
ring in.
absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, even just the photos, like, it looked like beyond staged. I mean, there's staged, which, they are PR pictures, so they were gonna be staged in some way. But you compare their engagement photo to, say, anyone else's in the world, and
Anyone else
if
in the
there's
world?
yeah, if there's any sincerity and any actual love and affection between the two of you, it's not going to look so forced,
Oh,
and
I
that's
have
what it is.
never seen any love or affection
No,
come from Harry in her
no.
direction ever. And I have watched all the teenage videos with him and his girlfriends,
Yes.
so-called girlfriends, beards, whatever they
Yep,
were.
yep.
And I have.
No.
He never looks at her. Have you noticed he never looks at
Yep,
her? He
yep.
looks down, sideways, up, around. He doesn't look at her. What
Right,
is
and
going on?
probably because she's so overwhelming when they're not in front of a camera that he just can't take it anymore.
Because she's so fugly.
Yeah, well, that too. But even still, I mean, and I went back and I think it was the first time that she went out, did a walkabout after they were married, and it was I don't know, they
Oh,
went to some place, who knows?
who
And it was
knows?
the
Who
one it wa
cares?
yeah, it was the one where she was wearing, like, that brown tweed overcoat, and she kind of does the little giggle with her hand at her chin. "Ooh," that little
Oh,
coquette.
yeah.
Well, when you see the video where they go inside, at that event, someone is there, and she's a nobody still at this point. I mean, they were just married or something like that, or gonna be married in the next month or something like that. When they go
Right.
into the place, someone is there and someone is excited because they are meeting with the prince, right? And so and they completely exclude Megan from the conversation. She
Ooh.
goes so far as to physically insert herself between them because she couldn't take the fact that for a minute someone was actually not paying attention to her. And the dejected look that Harry, I mean, just looks down. Like he doesn't even bother. And that's that early on that he's not even bothering to make any sort of a fuss about it because he knows it's not going to
Yeah.
go. It's pointless. He's already defeated.
And it went on from day one. It got
Yep.
worse and worse and worse until she was
Yep.
actually grabbing his arm and
Yep.
yanking him back. And he was
Oh,
like doing little bow curtsies. Remember
yep.
her in the blue Beckham dress?
Yep.
He
Yep.
literally curtsies to her to let her through.
Yep. Yep.
It's
Because
frightening. It is. It's such a gigantic farce. It's
it
worse
is.
than the COVID.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Because it's
And
covered up less.
everybody dances. The saddest thing I saw was when I saw old people giving her flowers and
Mm,
curtsying. I thought,
mm.
"Oh, that is so cruel. How could you do that? Royal family, how could you let this happen? How could you let this?"
The worst one I ever saw was in Australia, where there was a woman, and I think she was like 101, and she was in a
Yeah.
wheelchair, and they were at a walkabout. And this was someone who all her life had been waiting for the chance to meet one of the royals. And what does Harry do? He brings her over. He
Oh,
pulls Meghan from the other side of the street. And the woman is of course very gracious and oh, this is so wonderful, you've made my day. But you know damn well that woman was waiting all her life to see a royal, not Meg.
absolutely.
It's
She's
not
probably been at every royal
right?
visit and stood and waited and waited and waited, and here was her
Yep,
big chance to meet a
yep.
princess. A princess!
She didn't even
Please.
want she probably wanted to meet a prince. She didn't care about Meghan, but he pulls her over and it makes it well, who knows? I mean, that was in the early days, so I'm sure, one of the staff found her and, made a
What
photo op of it or
what are your
whatever.
what are your feelings now? I'm getting a really strong vibe that people are becoming very, very bored disinterested
Well, yeah,
in
but
her and her podcasts and her performances and
oh,
her new charity. I mean, what happened to the great humanitarian she was supposed to be? Where's all that charity
no,
work? All she does
no,
is
no.
talk about merching.
And now she definitely doesn't want to talk about the charity work with all the crap was sent to Bali. And
Oh,
you
no.
know the
Mm.
USAID stuff is going to start coming out. It's going to start trickling out. So she doesn't even want to be associated with any of the charities. She doesn't even want to be associated with Archwell anymore because she sees that as a PR nightmare.
And they put all their charities offline. Where are they all? In some foreign country so they can
Yep.
uh, s- c-
Delaware.
grift all the money off of them, because
Yeah.
if you want to make money, start a charity. And
Well,
they did. How many charities have they got? I mean, I've lost count.
well, that's the absolute farce of Delaware in general, which, there's a reason Biden was from Delaware, is that in Delaware, I think that the mandatory amount that has to actually go to the charity out of all the money raised is like 10%. I mean, so you can raise $100,000, presumably they're raising a lot more, but I'm just using round numbers, and
Mm.
90,000 can pay your overhead, and only 10,000 has to go to the cause. I mean, that's
It's
should be the
ludicrous.
other way. It should be the other way around. I remember when I was a kid, it was always if someone was a nonprofit attorney or if someone worked for a nonprofit, the idea was, and it was a reality then, that they made no money, but they were in it for the cause or the good of the cause. That has totally changed.
Mhm.
Millionaires make charities.
Of course.
Yeah. And
They're all a sham and a scam.
mhm,
I have never donated
absolutely.
to a charity in my life, and I never will. I don't believe in them. I know what
Well,
goes on
now,
behind the scenes.
definitely. And definitely
It's
not now.
sad.
Absolutely not. It's
But
horrific.
we're all turning upside down. I'm getting confused with all the.
Mhm.
It's becoming so blatant now. And I mean, Harry's not there. They're not married. I think their
No.
divorce went through 6 months ago.
I don't know if the
And
divorce went through, but it may as well have.
well,
Like, I don't know if
someone,
it's official
I
yet,
got a,
but
I got a, I got a underlying thing that she wanted 100 million as a outgoing payment with residuals, more to come, and they gave her 80. Now I don't know if any of that's true. That's only a vicious rumor that comes from the underground. But I would not be surprised. Nothing the Royals do would surprise me.
no.
After watching Andrew and Fergie and
Yeah, I
their
mean,
scamming and jamming and Weight Watchers and Oprah Winfrey interviews and, oh god, the nauseating trivia and trite. Why do we bother with this stuff? It's insulting us.
it
It's
is.
insulting our brains, but it's fun.
It is. But it is actually the things that they expect us to believe at this point truly is an insult to our intelligence. I
It
mean,
is, yeah. I
ha
think that's
ha
why we like exposing it
yes.
and watching channels like yours going underground and revealing it all, and the ridiculous history of their
Yeah.
so-called qualifications, Megan and Samantha. I mean,
Oh,
I
God.
don't think they're even related. I don't think
Well,
any of them are related. I think the Royal Grift's onto it. It's
yes,
all the
I
whole
think
thing.
so too.
They're a OSOP. What is it called? OSOPs, ASOPs. I think created
PSYOPs.
um,
PSYOPs.
by ops. What is it?
Yep. PSYOPs, like psychological
But
operation.
yes,
PSYOPs. Yep.
I think that's what they
Absolutely.
are. The whole
Absolutely.
family, including Ashley. Let's bung her in there too,
Oh, absolutely. Well, that's the thing. That's
and
why I
Noel,
said
and
I
Noel.
could have, yeah, her too. And the mother,
Oh
Roz,
yes, and
supposedly
let's
dead.
drag in Joe Giuliani, her first husband.
Yes, absolutely. And the two ex-husbands of Samantha and I mean, it goes on and on. And
Well,
none of them, and they
yeah,
all make cameo appearances, right? They
cameos.
show
Yeah.
up, they say something, and then they disappear. I mean, they even, you know, killed off the mother, for goodness sake.
They're like fairy stories.
Yeah. And,
The whole yeah.
the 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 niece and the potential connections to the Markle Foundation. I mean, even the Markle Foundation itself, right? Here's what they did. They took a foundation that had been in existence since like the 1930s. They it it had earned bazillions of residuals, right? Who knows how
Right.
much money this thing had made, and it was just sitting there. And so they went in and they took it
Ah,
over, and they now have millions of dollars at their disposal. And what are they using it for? They're using it to, fund these think tanks like the Aspen Institute, to fund their nonsense, to limit free speech. And who's the guy with the Aspen Institute that does all the forums and everything? He's a British guy, which I have nothing against British guys. I love the accent and the whole bit. But why the hell is he in charge of an institute that is controlling the speech in America, or looking
exactly.
to control it? I mean, the whole
You
thing is crazy.
you go deeper and it gets worse.
Right. I think we need to find one of those foundations, find one of them that someone hasn't claimed yet,
Oh, good
find
luck with
one of
that.
them, put Grifty and Don in charge of it, and let them go wild and let them do it right. I mean,
No one. You've got the
make
royal
them the
family behind the
CEO.
whole thing, and you
Oh
can't.
man,
You'll never get
yeah,
anywhere because the royal
right,
family, their power is enormous. I mean, I
yeah.
watched Sonia Poulton expose the farcical cancer, with Catherine, and his blogs are never edited, and I saw his blog edited, the Heretics,
Right.
and I thought,
Yes, yes,
my
yeah.
God, how much power does the royal family have? It is
Well,
frightening. We are
I had
dancing around like little fairies on the edge of a cliff
for their entertainment.
for their entertainment. Yeah, if
But
it, anyone,
I said to
any of
someone,
us got close, if you got close,
"Wow,
they would
that's
come down on you with a hammer, and
yeah,
you disappear, and we would say,
yep,
"Where did she go? Where did she go?
that's
Hey, she
right."
was great. Where did she go?"
Well, I you'll get a kick out of this because I put on X. Someone had sent something on X, and I commented, and I said something along the lines of, "Yeah, and Charles, when it's convenient, the illness comes up and he uses it." I didn't deny he was ill. I just said that, like any good politician, when it's convenient, he fills in, the time with, "Oh, his illness is worse now," right? I had
Yeah.
I had people say, "That's it. That's the last straw. I'm blocking you." I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Because I could go a lot further. I could give you want a reason to block me. I'll give you a reason to block me, but this one ain't it. You
You'd
gotta
have
be
to go pretty far to get blocked on X.
kidding." But this person, that was the last straw, suggesting that, like any good politician, he was using his illness when it worked for him. That was too much.
Well, they do, and and he does. Hey,
Of
do you
course.
think the Pope was alive when they saw him?
Right. And what was it? Even what's his name? And don't get me wrong, I love JD Vance, but he was there the day before? Come on. Like come
Probably they
on.
had a mannequin,
I
puffed up and sitting
mean,
there
come
with.
on.
I don't
Yeah,
believe that. I
that's a
think
little bit
I think he's been gone for a bit of a fair
that's a
while
bit too
now.
convenient. Hey, I'm a Catholic, so I was Catholic educated, so no shade, but come on.
Oh
Even I
God.
don't believe it. I'm a Catholic and I don't believe it. And
I
that's
don't
why, and the fact that I am Catholic and I did go to Catholic school, the other thing about
hear it.
Immaculate Heart, I meant to say this earlier, but these Catholic schools, they exist. Oh, they're saying Vance killed him? No, Vance didn't kill him. Well, you know what? Funny. They're saying Vance, maybe that's why they want it assumed that Vance was there. Who knows? I'm pretty sure Vance didn't kill him. But these schools, they depend on money. Like they
Oh,
need if people didn't donate to these places, they wouldn't exist. And so, if you want a Catholic school to change a banner or a yearbook or hide the yearbooks, I don't think it would be a drop in the bucket for the royal family to pay them to do that. I mean, that would be chump change for
chump
what
change.
the royal family could and would do, and they would bend over backwards for pennies. Pennies to the royal family, real money to you or I, but for the royal family, it would be,
It's, we're talking
nothing.
frightening money. We're talking almost
Right.
money that's incomprehensible.
They give
The amount of money the royal family have
right.
is we cannot comprehend it.
No,
And the
no, to
power,
give $1
and the
million
power.
to this
Yeah,
small Catholic high school in Los Angeles, please. Like, that would be nothing for the
it was
royal
probably
family just to give
yeah.
them $1 million, and we will never know where or who or what, when she was there, if she was there, none of
No,
it.
no
Because
idea.
that $1 million
We've
would
got
shut
no
them up.
idea how old, I swear, because I've watched the videos and when I was interested, that she's 47. Oh, he
I
is 47 and he looks it. Believe me.
who?
She
Well, yeah. Well,
yeah,
does he? Now, here's the question. If he is a he, would that explain the aging?
I think so.
But so
Or
then,
not.
could she be 43 and be a he? Do you see what
Well,
I'm saying?
I've seen Samantha come on live
Uh,
and look into the camera and say, "I was 13 when she was
mhm.
born." I've seen her come on and
Yep.
lie and say I was not yeah, change the number, 40, older,
I've
younger,
heard
I don't know, I've
everything.
lost count,
I've
and
heard
she's just
everything
turned
from
60.
15. I've heard everything from 15 to 19. I've
Ah,
heard.
there you go. Yes,
I
I lost
yeah,
track. I
yeah,
stopped listening,
exactly.
and I thought, well, if she's just turned 60 and she said she was 13 because I'm going on a video that I saw,
Right.
and she was 13, she's just turned 60, that
Yep.
makes Megan 47.
Right.
Without,
Yep.
I can't question it because I'm looking at videos. It wasn't a psyops. It wasn't anything. It was just she was just saying it. Why
Right.
did she say it? Why
Yeah.
did she open her mouth?
And didn't Thomas Jr. just say about what, a month and a half ago, she was hatched in 1984? Well, that's a new one.
Why does he come on and say she's had a hysterectomy? Her father said that she had a
Yep.
hysterectomy. He looked into the camera and said, I paid for her hysterectomy.
Yep.
She was 26, 27. She had severe endometriosis. I had to pay for her hysterectomy. No, he
Yep.
didn't say anything about her ovaries. He just said, he paid for a hysterectomy and he has the receipts or
Now,
he has the, what was the word he used? Anyway, he had the certification of he had the
right,
receipts, I
right,
suppose.
right.
And so, I'm just getting a phone call. Um, and he said
Well,
that,
here's
and
the
then he
thing.
changed it. And so, is it trying to make out? Are these hysterectomy videos that the Markle men are putting out to make her look female? Uh,
Well, it could be.
that
It could
was.
be.
I thought, why do you say it? Why are you both
Well,
putting it out
here's
there?
the other
You're
thing.
denying the illegitimacy of the children, that the children exist. They came from her body. It's all such
Right.
a waffle and a
But
wonder.
meanwhile, grandfather is crying over not ever seeing these children that he knows couldn't exist. But the other thing too, you're
He's that
telling me
father.
that this close-knit family, because remember, we've heard that story. Then we've heard that they aren't very close, so who the hell knows? But if they were in fact a close family, you're telling me that daddy, that the hysterectomy is, you know, daddy paid for it, so he knows about it. And then you the
Yeah,
other
and that
two don't know about it, but Thomas Jr. heard it from the ex-husband because they were close enough for him to tell him, but Samantha didn't know? Like, make up your minds, people.
make it pick a lane, pick a
Pick a
lane.
lane. Every time people say, "Why are you telling lies about the Markles?" Well, you know what? I could
Because
say
they
pretty
lie.
much I could say pretty much anything and probably find a video of them saying it if I tried hard enough. So
Yep, absolutely.
when they settle on a story, then you can tell me I'm lying, but until they do that, anything they say is fair game.
Did you ever hear or see the video that Thomas Markle Jr. made when he was very, very drunk about his perverted father's,
Yep,
activities going to Thailand?
yep, yep,
Oh,
yep. I
and
have
then
a
they try to
video of
make
that.
out this old guy's a saint. He's a
Yeah,
dirty
yeah,
old pervert.
yeah. In fact, see, the
And he was
problem
doing this all the time. He was raising this precious child.
now,
Oh, it's
here's a
ludicrous.
question. Put a 1 in the comments if you have seen that video, and put a 2 if you haven't. because I have that. We can watch that.
Play it. You should play it because I think a lot of
That's what I'm
people have
saying.
forgotten that.
I'm trying to see. Yeah, if people have seen it, I won't play it. What did I say? One is you have seen it, or one is you haven't. I forget what I said. One if you
Or
have
one
or
if
you
you
haven't seen
haven't,
it,
two if you haven't.
or just say yes if you want me to play it. How's that?
Yeah, that's better. Yeah, because
Because
I think you've got a lot of new
I forget which I
fans.
said. I forget what I said about which was one and which was two. Let me get that. Let me get that. Yeah.
Just put yes, 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 yes. Play it, play it, play it. We want to see it.
I think I'm far enough into my live because it does talk about adult activities, but I think it would be okay.
Yeah. Do you have to preface your activities, your post with that you're going to
Let me
talk about
let me see.
anything untoward?
Yes. This is
Ah,
now for adults only
ah.
because there will be mention of adult activities of a wide variety.
I may
Let me
have to
see.
interrupt in a second. I may have to take a call on my. I
No
got
worries. If
my.
you have to go, that's okay.
I'll come
We
back.
won't be yes, that's fine. Let me see. Let me share this. Share my screen. There we go.
You're a bad girl.
I am. I'm very bad.
Well, one of us has to do it. Somebody has to put it out there.
I'm Tom Markle Jr., Duchess Megan's brother. Yeah, in the
Oh
early
my
80s,
God,
when these
you're going to
parties
Wait a
were
minute,
going
play
wait a
it?
on,
minute,
they
wait a
were
minute,
at
wait a
our
minute, wait a
Woodland
minute,
Hills
wait a minute.
house.
Yeah.
During these
Hold on. I didn't take this out. I have to remove this first. See, I'm not very good at this. All right, remove this. Put this. Here we go.
Ooh,
Why isn't it adding?
it's probably
Add it
been
to the
blocked or
screen.
bleached or something.
You know what? That's very possible. Here we go. There we go. Oh,
parties, and I'm Tom Markle Jr., Duchess Megan's brother. Yeah, in the early 80s,
Yeah,
when
right.
these parties were going on, they were at our Woodland Hills house. During these parties in the early 80s, obviously my dad was there. You know, my dad would snort, cocaine, and my dad would be upstairs in the bedroom, and I'd see lines of cocaine on the mirror, and I'd see him do it, and I didn't really pay much attention to it. But I think back in those times, in the studio times, when it was just everybody was doing drugs in the studios, so it was pretty common for them to have parties like that. My father, no, he's not a weed guy. He doesn't like to smoke weed. Never has. He's not a drinker. He would have occasional wine, but no weed. When I saw these parties going on, and my reaction to it was,
now this is particularly interesting because he just said he's not a drinker.
Well, I never
Now,
heard that the old
wait.
guy was a cocaine snorter. Gee,
Well,
that's good
I knew
too.
that. I knew that.
Gold.
But then there's like 5 parts to this interview, right? And they're all short. Like they're all short clips. But in the second part, he talks about how he drank all the time and he was constantly drunk. Like even in these
God, you're good.
5, 2-part, these 5 the 5 parts that each are about 2 minutes long. This guy cannot keep his story straight because he just we all heard it, right? We all heard he's not he would drink an occasional wine, right? Yeah, just
Oh,
remember that. Just remember that.
keep that in
I
your
didn't really pay
mind.
much attention to it. I mean, I was a young teenage kid, and I was just, pretty much left on my own all the time. And my dad was never really around. Doria was, she was around more than my dad was. My dad was always working, so I didn't really pay much attention to it. Or my father, when I was growing up, was very distant. He wasn't around very much at all. His work schedule, I mean, just
Hello.
he just wasn't there. It was mostly my mom raising us all the time. But when my dad was around, he was just quiet and secretive, and he didn't really want to be bothered much, and there's always like a big secret side to him. He always had a locked door somewhere, but most of the time he was always grumpy.
Yeah, Father of the Year,
Oh, what a guy!
right?
What was
Now,
it? Was Thomas Markle Jr. snorting away too? 15,
yeah,
that probably was.
yeah, yeah. Oh, I've heard that too. But allegedly, in my opinion, I've heard that. Don't know it. Who knows? But this, they remember I said there's about 5 parts to this. This is the tame one, all right? They get much better.
It doesn't get much better than this. I mean, he was out there in the beginning.
Yeah.
The first time that I knew my dad went to Thailand was in the early
Here we go.
80s when he was married with Doria. He went for a couple of weeks, and I just remember it so well because when he came back, he gave me some pretty amazing, what they call Thai sticks. So that was pretty much of a big bonus for a young teenager. My dad's first trips to Thailand, I was, a young teenager, and he never told me why he was going. I just knew he worked all the time, so he was just going on vacation. Never really got into why he was going there until later. Later in life, when my dad told me about his trips to Thailand, we were on the subject of talking about women, and we were out having a couple of beers and shooting a game of pool, I think. He says, you can get 2 women for the weekend for $50, and the things they'll do to you are incredible. You'll be a changed man.
Now, this clip is a little bit longer. This one's a 3-minute one, so I want to make sure that I, for copyright reasons, break it up. But can people see now why it was so ridiculous when they came out with their moving to Southeast Asia? I mean, you can't make this
But
stuff up.
he sat in his own apartment with the original wall. I mean, I was looking at the art because I was looking at his art, and he's sitting there
Right,
saying, "We're in Thailand having a wonderful holiday," and he's
right,
sitting in his apartment because I recognise the artwork on the wall. I mean,
right,
does he think
right.
we're all retarded? Or you're not allowed to say that word, are you? Mentally
Yeah,
challenged? He must think
yeah,
we're all mentally challenged.
yeah. It's an insult to our intelligence that we're supposed to believe that now he is, a model father. Oh,
Oh,
but
oh yes, he's
then,
a
the
poor old
story,
man.
right. Now, the story is, of course, that, well, Megan was different, right? He was more present for Megan because Megan was, he was correcting his mistakes. Give me a frickin' break.
Well,
You
no
don't
wonder she was
change.
different. Her
Nobody
father was
changes
in,
this
her mother
much.
was in prison, and her father was
Right.
in Thailand on drugs. What was she doing?
Nobody it changes that much. I refuse to believe it. All right, let's keep going.
I kind of left it at that and didn't want to talk about it anymore. And I just know of a couple other times that he was talking about going over there. So he said, something about dental work and surgery and whatever, all kinds of stuff you could get over there done really cheap. I know he's been over to Asia 3 times. First time to Thailand, second time to the Philippines, I think. He talked about going back to Thailand or the Philippines or both. But he goes for a couple weeks at a time. So when my father talked to me about, the girls on the trips to Thailand, it was disturbing, and I didn't want to discuss it any further with him. Of course, Doria would know that he went to Thailand. For what? She probably wouldn't know, but judging by their fighting and their arguing and stuff, I mean, maybe she found out, but that's just speculation. I really don't know. Could have a reason why they split up. Maybe not. Who knows? Some of my dad's and Doria's fights were pretty horrendous, pretty loud, a lot of yelling and screaming. I didn't really want to listen to it, and I just pretty much blocked it out, especially with Megan in the house. I didn't really
Sure.
want to be there. I think the first time my dad went to Thailand, Megan was a toddler. And she
Right.
was still in diapers. And yeah, so she was in the house. She was in the picture then. Later in life, when my dad and Doria were already split up and living in separate places in Hollywood, I'd, go over and visit my dad once in a while. And I would notice, either before or later after Christmas time, there'd be like a stack of packages. And I'd look at the addresses and they were all going to the Philippines or Thailand. And I always wondered what those were for. So when I asked him about it, he said, those are friends of mine, and some families that I, send stuff to back in Thailand. When I did ask my dad about those gifts and stuff, I wondered, like, if I did have maybe some brothers and sisters running around in Thailand. I don't know, just to the back of my head, I thought about it.
Well, now he's got siblings in Thailand. Okay.
Yeah, because that's normal, right? Yeah,
Yeah, that's what you do.
that right, exactly. That's what comes to mind. I have siblings in Thailand from my father's escapades. I mean,
hey,
that's
they're Megan's siblings too. Aren't
yeah,
they
they're
related to
royalty.
Megan indirectly? Oh, God.
Yeah,
My
Matt,
math. My
Matt,
maths are getting confused.
Matt.
I'm getting confused.
When people say to me, "Oh, he's just a poor old man. Why are you picking on him?" Have they seen these and they just don't know, or
They don't know. You've got really new subscribers, and they are totally blind to this crap that went
I
on,
mean,
a decade ago.
and this is I assume, I don't know this for a fact, but I assume that when um Samantha did that tweet saying my brother has thrown my father under the bus or something along those lines, I'm paraphrasing, but
My brother's
my criminal
revealing
brother.
too much.
Right. My criminal brother has now thrown my father under the bus. Well, I assume it's referring to these interviews. I mean, if not, was there worse? Like, did he do something worse to throw down under the bus? Because I'm
There's prob
pretty sure this is about as bad as it could get, right?
No, it gets worse. It gets worse. What
Well,
about
no, these
what about
no,
paying $50 for 2 girls for 1 hour?
right,
That
these interviews get
regularly.
worse. These interviews get worse, these in touch ones. But I mean, it's got to be this series of interviews that Samantha was referring to, because if there's another time he threw him under the bus
If there's a
that was
bigger
worse
bus,
than, right, is there a bigger bus?
I bet they're a double decker.
Right. All right, let's see. There's part 3.
Oh God, you're so bad.
All my mom really told me about my father back when I was a little kid in Chicago was that, working at the studios back then was like almost like being a celebrity. So my dad would stay out and not come home for a couple of days. He'd come home a little wasted when he did drink back then. And my mom told me that, she knew that he was cheating on her too. And so that's why they got divorced. When my father would come home, my mom told me that, it'd just be a lot of fighting. And, I would hear a lot of screaming and yelling, and there was a lot of fighting going on. This is back when I was like really little though. So, and with that and the infidelities, that would be why they got divorced also right away. The relationship with my father has always been really frustrating. Very.
I love it how he casually throws in, that and the
Yeah,
infidelities, as though that's
yeah,
like a nothing.
yeah. Where was Dad? Oh, he's in Thailand again for the weekend.
Right. Hold on a
Hang
second.
on.
Someone was asking what year this was. Let's see.
Well, he was
6 years
15.
ago.
Apparently, he got the worst of
2000,
it went on.
no, when the interview was. The interview was October 22nd, 2018.
Whoa!
Yeah. Yeah. This was
Gee.
right in the beginning. I mean, he wasted no time selling out Dad.
Oh, no wonder. No wonder Samantha was hysterical when they trying to camouflage
Yeah.
this lot.
And
Yeah.
meanwhile, this is the same time. So 2018, October 2018. So this is what, after the wedding, right? So this is after they told everyone that, of course, he's buying the beers for the Gatehouse crew. You know?
Okay.
Like, and they
Oh,
expect us to believe this.
God, Thomas, please. And he keeps now he's the great, wonderful, look, parent,
Uh,
nurse,
he gave
friend,
breath to
travel
her
buddy.
every moment. Every moment he lived and breathed to be Megan's father. Well, now here's the other question. If this man was, as Thomas Jr. says, which I believe he was, why the hell is Samantha out there defending him?
Yeah, where's the relationship? There isn't
Like
any.
what? Like what? The
They
only
can't even
possible
cover each
reason
other's tracks.
is to one up her sister. This has nothing to do with her father. It's to one up her sister and to grift. I mean, There's nothing
Yeah.
authentic about these people.
Well, I think
Nothing.
that initially in that year, 2018, they were both hysterically angry that
Right.
Dorita had
Yeah.
been paid 9 million
Right.
English pounds for
Right.
turning up at the wedding or going to turn up at the wedding. I don't know what the chronological order of
Who
there
knows
is,
what? Who
but
knows what?
that's why the jealousy was they were enraged that they were being left out.
Yep.
So
Well,
they went full bore. And
yep.
now they're having to backtrack and camouflage and he's, "Oh, I'm looking after my father. I'm my father's,
Yeah.
great nurse. He doesn't
Caretaker.
drink. He doesn't smoke. I'm trying to keep him alive. Poor daddy, poor daddy, poor daddy."
Yeah.
And Samantha's doing the same thing. Poor daddy, poor daddy.
Yep.
My poor father was suffering, suffering, suffering. The story has become ludicrous and we're all going,
Yeah.
"What?"
Yeah. And we're the bad guys for pointing it out, right?
Yeah. And let's
I
keep
mean,
showing the public because they
yeah.
need to know so they
But,
can laugh too.
we can all rest assured there is an international private investigator out to prove that I am just making up lies for Meggsy. Because
Oh,
this is
please.
all apparently I AI'd these
Oh, my goodness.
I must have,
Bite
right?
me. Well, come after me, honey. I'm in Australia and you got nothing on me and I got no background. I've just been watching the diddly squat crap go down for decades and I'm sick to death of it.
I mean,
I've got
the
Australian witnesses that were friends of mine that were at the square when Diana went into that tunnel. Don't come after me, honey, because I'll bite you back. And I
I
don't
mean,
care. And you,
find a parking ticket on me in the last 20 years and I'd be stunned. I'm pretty sure I haven't gotten one since I lived in a city, and I would get one for alternate side of the street parking crap. You know? That was when
I
I was
tell
in
you
my
what,
20s. I've had a
there
while
come.
since then.
I agree completely. There comes a point when there are too many of us.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
one whisper added to that of 1,000 others becomes a roar of
absolutely,
discontent. Yep. All right. There's
absolutely.
more.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said.
There's more people. It gets better.
It gets better. Unfortunately, it gets worse.
Very like
It's getting dark and ugly. Go, go.
non-existent. Very little bits and pieces of happy memories. And, my dad didn't really have the time for me and my sister like he did for Meg. Completely different. Growing up
God.
with my father was always really distant.
Are we
He
supposed to
didn't have
believe
much
this?
time at all
I need an
for me and my
anti-nausea
sister Samantha
medication.
or Yvonne or whatever she's going by now. But completely different than Meg. Megan changed my dad's life. And my dad
Oh,
basically was changed after Meg.
I
sure.
love the Yvonne or Babe or Samantha or whatever she's going by now. Like, even he acknowledged how ridiculous it is. He
Oh.
doesn't even.
And then you got Lady C and Dan Morton,
Oh,
stroking each other's backs, lying through their teeth, anything for what a click.
and
Gee.
and Dan Wooten. I was just rewatching something today where Samantha's crying about her poor father.
Oh
And
God, not again. You're not crying again. Oh dear,
Yeah,
please.
and of course it turns off like like a light switch when she's ready to bitch about Megan. But and
Oh
talk about
yeah.
money and talk about money. But Dan Wooten, oh, and what a great man he is. Dan, have you seen this crap that's out there?
This
I mean,
guy's a pervert. He
he
was just prosecuted for going online and
yeah.
getting some poor woman to
uh,
send pictures, or some poor guy to send pictures of naked pictures of his genitals, and then he got prosecuted for it. Then he comes back online and expects us to all think he's wonderful. And
I
Lady
mean,
C's
is
a
that
royal aristocrat. Give me a break.
is that what it is? Is it's birds of a feather are flocking together on that one with Dan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
No.
You
I
stroke
believe
my
it.
back, I'll stroke yours. You lie for
Yeah.
me, I'll lie for you, and
There you
we'll
go.
make all the public look stupid.
You make me credible, I make you. Ugh.
Yeah.
The whole thing
I'll
is a
come to your
joke.
party and sit in your garden and wear my little tuxedo, and we'll all la-di-da. And unfortunately, Taz has got sucked into the
Uh,
Viper
and Brittany.
room.
And Brittany.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh, do you feel sorry for them? You start to feel
But
sorry for
I
them.
I mean, the
I
thing
mean,
is
you and I are out there on the edge
we go
watching
to Yeah,
And we go,
we're the fringe.
yeah, sure, pick a lane,
No
duh.
one's asking us for interviews. But, I do give Taz and Brittany credit in that I think they are smart enough to keep it at a distance to keep themselves from getting painted by the same brush.
Well, I mean, I've been
I think
following
so.
Taz for a while. I hope she keeps herself safe, but
I think
anybody
they
will
will.
sell anything for money.
Well,
It all depends on the amount.
yeah. Mm,
You and
well,
I'd probably say, sure, I lied, I was drunk, I was stupid. How much money are you going to give me? I didn't take any of it. It's not true. No, I didn't do it. No, 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 no. Rubbish. I'm go on, shoot me. I'm not going to do it. I don't
oh,
need any money. I
I
don't
take
want any money.
I
That's
take
not
money in a heartbeat and then turn against them.
yes, yes.
I know it.
And
I
there'd
know
be
it.
nothing they could do about it.
That's why no one will offer me any money.
Well, what is it? What is the old Godfather? Make me an offer I can't
Right.
refuse.
Right. Yeah.
I suppose there is an offer out there when they start to inveigle my family into it. Yes, maybe there is
Yeah.
an offer I could refuse, but I don't care anymore. You reach a point where you think I've been made a fool of for so long, and
Yeah.
I feel embarrassed for you. I feel embarrassed for the king and Camilla,
Yeah.
his enabler, and
Yeah.
it's shocking. You don't wanna know in the end. I mean, this great revolution of,
The
technology.
Great Reset. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Lady what it was it? Baroness Susan,
Which
I
one?
can't remember. Baroness there's a beautiful baroness, she's a baroness and she's a brain surgeon. She's a brain
Oh,
brain doctor, and she said, "We are not prepared to cope with the technology that is going to be given to us," and we aren't.
no. No. There's also she was a Trump advisor. Jean Halsey Harper or Harper Halsey, I don't remember which it is, or something she's something like that. But she is apparently she studies the psychology and the sociology of politics, essentially. I mean, it's kind of a little bit more complicated than that. But what she says is, you know, we can't tell them everything. We can't. People can't handle it. Their
That's
brain,
exactly it.
their
Yeah.
brains will defend them by not allowing them to believe to a certain point. It has to be slow because if you gave them everything all at once, no one would
Would
believe it.
explode. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's the old Tom Hanks quote, "You can't handle the truth," and it's true,
Yeah,
we can't.
yeah. And if we actually, you know, did when we actually come to that realization, it's going to rock our faith in whatever we have faith in, whether it's,
Yeah.
yourself or whether you have faith because you start to doubt your own mind,
Well, we're all
whether
shaking
it's
now.
God, whether it's your country, whatever it is that your faith is most rooted in, it's going to shake.
Yeah.
And so it has
Our
to be bit by bit. We
I
can't.
think we're all shaking now. I think we're watching too many people,
Well, I
friends and family, having reactions to what was inflicted on us with the big C. I won't even say it. And
But I think those of us that have started to see it are shaking. There's
are
still a lot of
shaking.
people that have no idea.
There
There's still people with their
honestly, there
head
are people that are going down
so
and
deep in the
putting their
sand.
arm out and having an extra one. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna
Oh,
talk I'm
mm,
not gonna say it out loud. I will not say it out loud.
I I refused and I wouldn't let my kids get it.
I didn't
And
get it. I didn't.
everyone told me I was nuts, and I said, "Okay, we'll see."
My my partner had one because he wanted to travel, and he bitterly, bitterly regrets it.
Yeah. The only
But we
people in my family that got it were my parents. Now, my parents at the time were in their late 80s. You know what? If they made it through it,
yeah.
then it's not like they had to worry about long-term effects. You know what I mean? I mean, in all honesty, they wouldn't have to worry about long-term effects
Exactly, yeah.
being in their late 80s. But no one else got it.
I talked
I
to
think
my
some of my
GP the
nieces
other
and
day,
nephews
and he
did that.
said he's treating so many people, and he said,
Yeah,
we don't know whether it's lifelong."
yeah,
We don't see an end. It's not 2 years and it's not 5 years. It's
yeah,
symptomatic for, lifelong. And
yeah.
that's my GP, and he's treating a lot of people, and he's just, a good guy,
And I
and he's honest
got
with
it.
me. So, yeah, it's really frightening. We're
I got
This is
it.
why
You know, I was
this is
16
why
weeks.
you and I talk. This is why you and I talk.
This is why people listen. All right, there's
Yeah,
more. We got
because
more Tom Jr. We got
yeah.
more Tom Jr. We got more good stuff here.
Well, play it, honey, play it.
Megan was born, and he devoted every spare second to Megan. You know, my sister and I never had that kind of relationship with our father growing up at all. Before I was 18, like right before my 18th birthday, I moved out on my own when my father and Doria and Megan were moving to Hollywood. And being that we moved around so much as children, back and forth from parent to parent and house to house, it just got so old. I could never make friends. I could never settle down. I could never have
Whoa.
any friends for any certain amount of time without changing schools or houses, you know, every year, damn near. So when he told me that they were moving to Hollywood, I said, okay, have fun. I don't want to go. He goes, well, what are you going to do? And I said, I'm going to go get my own place to live. And I did. Thanks, Pops.
God, he's spilling the
Father
beans.
of the year. Well, you know, I mean, and what in the end?
Did you see him going into the ambulance when he just had a stroke and a heart attack? Man, he was chatty.
Yeah. I mean, and we're still supposed to believe that Megan changed everything, right?
Yeah,
What
right.
the biggest change that I bet Megan had was that there wasn't a mom there to pick up the slack, and so we actually had to engage more. I mean, that's the only thing I can think.
Where is Mum?
Oh, who knows? She's been MIA for a while, hasn't she? Jamscan found something where she is possibly teaching classes on bead making in a college in LA, possibly.
You are kidding me.
No.
No, please.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Bead making. Yep. That's
That's as bad as Dorita giving psychological advice and having a, you know, what did
right.
she say?
She's
She has some
supposedly
sort
a
of,
psychologist too. How come they're
yeah,
all psychologists? That's the other thing.
I'm
All right.
getting a headache.
I know. We're getting on 2 hours, so we got to get through this because there's more.
Oh, good. Let's go.
After my dad and Doria split up, and I think it was in Hollywood after they moved from Woodland Hills, they never got along ever again after that. My dad would complain to me about Doria constantly, and still to this day, they don't get along at all.
Sure.
I think with my dad and Doria, the age gap was.
But wait, I thought they co-parented so brilliantly, but they didn't get along at all.
No, yeah. Pick a lane.
Pick a lane, for goodness sakes.
Was way too big. My dad was always working, and Doria wasn't. After they got married, she didn't work, and I think he just got fed up and just probably just didn't want to. I don't think she was ready at all to be in that role or to be part of a family. She was too young for that. What I do kind of think about Doria is I think, I don't know. I think at some point, I think she really used my father. She saw an opportunity and hooked up with him. And when it didn't work because of their age difference, I think she just, she took advantage of him, I think, because.
Oh, gee.
Well, she was
You
partying,
think?
wasn't she? Partying in the house
You
24/7?
think? Like,
Wasn't she partying at the house at
was
home?
that a tough realization to come to? Because I caught on to that without knowing all this.
Well, I heard
Without
that she was home
seeing this.
smoking dope 24/7, and she didn't
Yeah.
want to work and didn't want to do anything, and she was a waste of space, and she supposedly had a baby. I don't know.
I mean,
Well,
I would really like to know how this was, a maybe with him. Maybe she was taking advantage of him. Like, oh, for goodness sake.
maybe.
That's what he
What, was
said. I think maybe she was taking advantage of him. No,
has he lost
she
his
was.
faculties?
Yeah, right. No, she was.
I think from
Their
day
relationship
one.
was so short, and over so fast as soon as after Meg was born. I mean, it was pretty much obvious. I think he really found out, why she was with him, and I think it was to use him. I'm not sure if Doria was a gold digger or what exactly happened, but that's just from what I saw. I saw a really, new relationship take off and a lot of partying going on, and I saw it end just as fast. I mean, I saw the frustration, I saw the fighting, I saw all this go down, and from the time we left the valley and they split up and I went my own separate way because I didn't want to move to Hollywood. They never got along ever, one day after that, ever. I think at this point with Meg and Doria's relationship and Megan only bringing Doria over or bringing her into anything and pretty much brushing off the entire family, I think Doria's probably, really just like snickering at the whole thing and just, maybe she's coaching Megan on the rest of the family not to bring anybody into the circle or whatever, who knows. But you can tell, she's having a good time.
And his jealousy is evident.
Yeah, exactly. And like Jess says, the three cherub sob story. So yeah, Samantha was so hurt that this woman that they had virtually nothing to do with was not naming her company after the happy home that they have. Like, what the hell?
What happy home?
Yeah, exactly.
They have a week of happy home? I don't know. Dorita was partying away there, and she wasn't knocking off her father. I don't know what was going on. It's all such a mangled mess. And every time he says Meg, I think, you're a liar. There was no Meg. There was no Megan. She's just an introduction into your fabrication that you've all been paid for. I don't believe any of it anymore.
I don't either. Yeah, there's a part 5. Let me see. Part 5
Go.
didn't come up. Maybe I don't have it. Maybe it doesn't come up. Oh, there we go.
That's probably the good one where he pays $50 for 2 young girls for an hour. and they're the size of children. Don't leave that out.
Oh, of course. And a lot of times in those places, are they all girls?
Yes. Good question.
Yes. All right, let's see. What do we got here? They always save the best for last, right?
On my dad Megan's recent falling out, I think I'm not 100% sure, but I think it has a lot to do with finances with my dad. From my perspective, any money that my dad's ever given you has always been a loan. I think Megan didn't need him anymore when she got her big break on that show Suits. As soon as she left for college, I think my dad was expecting to be paid back for paying for her college. So it could be those and a couple other number of things that, I'm not really sure about. But I think my dad was really hurt that he finally realized that, she didn't need him anymore. She's never wanted for anything, she's been groomed since day one.
Groomed
on stage, and she's gotten everything she's ever asked for, never had to ask for anything. And I think,
I mean, that's a word you don't throw around, right?
No.
I mean, yeah. That's a very interesting choice of words. And I mean, I know he's going to go on to say that it's, for Hollywood, but
yeah. People were asking about it.
That in and of itself is questionable because what do we know about most childhood stars, right?
Yes. Oh.
So is it
careful now?
That word for Hollywood, isn't that in and of itself being that word for other things?
Absolutely.
Strange choice of words, like Anna says.
And we all know what the word means.
I think it just, took a big toll on my dad when she was really independent and she didn't need him anymore. And I think that's her major falling out, that and money, I think he was probably expecting quite a bit of money back from her. With my dad's falling out with Megan, he did tell me when I went down to go see him in Mexico that he was afraid that he'd never see her again. He was actually pretty upset about it, thinking that his relationship with his daughter was completely over.
Sure.
So
Which haven't we heard that he moved to Mexico in 2011?
Mexico's a great safe place to be.
But he's saying here that when he moved to Mexico, he assumed he wasn't going to see, or he was worried that he was never going to see his daughter again. Well,
Well,
I
yeah.
thought they were together all the time, spending holidays with Doria in a hotel room, paid for by Harry. I mean, it doesn't get more bizarre than that. But so
No, we've got
from
a gap of years.
2011, he was worried he was never going to see her again, but then he's surprised at the way everything else played out. I
But
mean,
they were seeing each other regularly until
exactly.
2018,
Uh, uh, uh,
17. Oh, God, what we could start to get
pick
confused with the chronological order here.
pick a story for goodness sakes.
And don't use grooming if you're going to talk about Lord Mountbatten and King Charles
Or anything connected with Hollywood.
or anything connected with Hollywood.
So,
We can't
and
all be blown up in
he
the
was really
boats by
about
the.
being brushed off, and she didn't even call him after his heart attack, and he's got every right to be. And I understand he's upset and his frustration, because what daughter
Sure.
doesn't go see their father after a heart attack, and especially in that situation.
Yeah, this whole conversation is about money.
Yeah, maybe a daughter that knows that his health choices might have led to said heart attack. I mean,
Yeah, I think she caused the heart attack. Did he
that,
really have a heart attack? He
well,
seems to be swanning around Thailand at the moment, partying with his child
mm,
employees.
and someone who has medical bills, you're telling me you're going to move away from your Medicare?
And where's the money coming from? Yes, where's the
GoFundMe.
money coming from? They're all swanning around on their holidays, the two of them, and they don't seem to have any money. He
Well,
can't be
see,
getting much from his blog or whatever, post or video, whatever he's doing, because he doesn't do any more.
they've been on vacation for 4 months now,
I
which
know, and they don't do
I
it cheaply. Have you seen the locations?
yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, well, I
Party
mean,
on.
it could always be, a good hotel here and there amongst the
Oh, well,
others, but who
I
hell
know who's
knows?
paying for it. Megan's paying for it. She's
Well,
paying for it. Let's face it.
someone's paying for it. I wouldn't say Megan. That
Someone's
would be,
paying for it.
yeah,
Well, it's not
definitely.
us. We're not paying.
For once, there's something we're not paying for, at least.
We pay for everything else. We pay,
Exactly.
pay, pay. We pay with our lives and our intellects and our faith,
And our
taking
mental
it all,
well-being.
and our
Uh,
mental well-being. Yes, amen. Oh, there you are. You
Because
said the
if it
whole
wasn't for
thing.
my dad, Megan would not be where she's at today at all.
Oh,
And she could at
kill
least
me.
give him some common courtesy and,
Jesus, that
go visit
beggars.
him. Her first husband,
and how often
Trevor.
did he
I mean, I think he
and how often did he visit his father prior to, you know, going to move down and take care of him? I'm gonna guess pretty low.
Yeah. Tell me, Thomas. Can you
Yeah,
tell me, Thomas, exactly how much do you want to be paid by the royal family? You
yeah.
keep your mouth shut.
What will end this? And here's the other thing. We always hear about, Samantha last saw Megan at her graduation. They talked and this and that. When was the last time Thomas saw Megan? Thomas Jr.
Exactly. Good question.
I
Good
mean, we don't hear about
question.
that on a regular basis. In fact, we never hear the last time he was with Megan. We hear about the last phone conversation. Hey babe, hey babe.
Hey, the big question you just brought up is all the children. Where
Yep,
is Thomas's children and where's Samantha's children? And
yep.
where's Noel?
And why don't we see photos of Megan as a flower girl at Samantha's wedding?
Or Samantha pregnant?
Uh, psh, All good questions. Or
Yeah,
her with a baby of her own.
I know. She's supposed to have three, isn't she?
Yeah. Remember, she just told us the other day how wonderful motherhood is.
Yeah. If she's
right
not
before
suing
Easter.
someone, she's always suing someone.
She literally always has a lawsuit going. Literally.
How many? I'd love to know her litigation history.
And she also is usually often being sued by someone simultaneously as well.
She's getting sued
Don't
while
forget
she's
that.
suing. Oh, it's like a party. We put your
She's
right foot
currently,
in, you put your right foot out.
yeah, just April 9th, she had a court summons that she refused.
Oh God. Why? Because she's not well and she's in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
I couldn't come to the court. I'm sorry. I was
Well,
having
she
a bad
also,
day.
I mean, don't even get me started on why she's in the wheelchair because we've heard 5 different stories about that too. I mean,
You and I are so
he
bad.
was paralyzed, and this is in court records.
Was
He was
that because she fell down the stairs and she sued somebody because she got paralyzed and ended up in
That's
a
one of them.
wheelchair? Or is it because she's got some sort of MS? I mean, pick a lane.
Those are 2. Then there was the rope swing that apparently she was
Oh,
paralyzed in high school, but we have her walking across the TV screen in Matlock when she's 10 years older, and she's not paralyzed. So seriously,
it's a
people pick a lane,
miracle. It's a miracle.
isn't it? No one on the planet has been paralyzed as many times as Samantha has.
I tell you what, the next thing that we can put Samantha aside for a moment because she's an idiot, and let's go back to Megan. Megan's next port of call is going to be cancer. She's
Oh,
she's had the
oh,
hysterectomy. She's had the whatever she get.
I don't
What
know.
is that?
She's got what?
The
Didn't
latest
she?
thing she
Didn't
dragged
she?
out of a box that you get when
Didn't
you're
she?
preeclampsia. She's had the
Right.
preeclampsia. She's had the
Post-eclampsia.
hysterectomy. She's had
Oh,
the miscarriage. I think the next port of call is going to be, oh my God, I've got cancer. I'm on chemo. I'm having
well,
radiation.
well, didn't she literally
Hey, then
just
she can
drop
take off her
another?
wigs.
Didn't she just drop another? I mean, isn't it Wednesday? Doesn't she usually drop the podcast on Wednesday? What's this week's ailment? What's the
Oh
ailment of the week?
God, yeah. Now, what is it? I mean, it's out there, isn't it? Isn't it out there
Yeah, but
already?
I stopped listening. The first one,
Oh,
I,
cunts.
that was my penance for whatever nasty deeds I've done in my life was listening to that. I've done my duty. Everybody's on their own now. That was enough. But this week's ailment, it's what it is, Kitty. Every time she has another guest, she has an ailment with them.
I
Post-eclampsia,
know.
miscarriage.
Yes.
Like, what the hell is next?
She's
Uh,
going to reveal that she had cancer and she's
yes,
treated and she's cured. No,
and she's gonna give.
she's not gonna go the chemo route and the bald head. No, she's gonna I had it. Like
Mhm,
she'll have someone who had cancer and she'll say, I had it too.
yes, she's
Because
got
she's always had everything that everyone's had.
mhm. And
Oh,
then
that's
she
gonna
can
be
come out.
fun.
She can come out with a
Let's
video.
nip her in the bud. We'll nip her in the
Video.
bud so she can't do it.
She'll come out
I'll
with a
say,
video just like whatchamacallit? Oh, that's a good one at CC. She'll come up with the video just like Catherine's, that she's now got this new lease on life, and they'll be
yes.
running.
And that's why you notice how happy I am now, and how wonderful I am, and how I can put
Exactly.
things in little plastic bags and get
Yeah.
joy from the flowers in my garden, and I'm full of
Yeah.
joy, joy, joy because I'm cured, I'm saved.
Oh, that's why I have the
And I
floral
had and
sprinkles.
oh, excuse me, I had it before Catherine. I didn't want to tell
Well,
anybody, but I
you
had it
know what?
before Catherine, but I didn't
Maybe
reveal it.
maybe she had she has to use the organic floral sprinkles because she used to use the old ones, and they've got the bad toxins, and that's where she got the cancer from.
Yes,
See
I
now,
got it from
and
I got it from
and
I got
we
I got
can't
it from the
forget.
lead in my coffee.
Exactly. The floral sprinkles, let's not forget, those are protein infused floral sprinkles because you need the
Mm.
protein in them. If they're not
Oh,
protein
yes.
packed, then
And I
what's the
feed them to
point?
my guinea pig.
How much protein are in those freaking floral what is it? They have a word for it. It's like protein dense. Protein dense
Oh,
floral
yes.
sprinkles. I swear to God. Who the hell needs protein dense floral sprinkles? Like, what are you making like a tofu burger out of them?
I
Or are
have
you
them in,
or are you
but
sprinkling them?
all my sprinkles I have injected with ivermectin, so they are totally cancer free. You will not get cancer from my sprinkles. They have all been sprinkled with ivermectin.
And a little bit of fairy dust.
Yes,
All right,
and
we got
some
like 30
pimdesmal.
seconds. Let's finish off Tom's 30 seconds.
Probably had a little bit to do with her success. I'm not sure, but I think when she had a bigger opportunity, I think that dissolved as well. Their marriage dissolved as well. The couple of times that I've spoken with Trevor, he doesn't want to hear her name ever. He doesn't ever want to
No
talk about
wonder.
her. So I'm sure it was pretty drastic. Trevor doesn't want to hear Megan's name. I think they had such a bad falling out. You mentioned Megan's name and he'll hang up the phone on you. He doesn't want to hear it.
Wow.
And yet, even though he doesn't want to hear her name, he managed to tell him about the hysterectomy.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, that's pretty
Hmm.
impressive, isn't it? They must have had quite the conversation for that.
Well,
especially
that
since they said it without once mentioning her name.
well, it's he doesn't want to expose the fact that he was married to a tran and he didn't know it. That'd be really bad.
Well, he was with her supposedly for 11 years, but I don't
Well, fake
believe that.
vaginas work well.
I don't really believe that, but hey,
He just thought it was a little dry at times.
whatever gets you through the day, right? Whatever makes you believe the delusions that, you know, get
Yep.
you through the day.
Poor old
Well,
fella. Poor old Trevor. You feel sorry for him, although he's married to a millionairess, and so he's happy now. But
and you gotta say the man has been dignified in like he has
he
not
has. I
said boo.
I have a great deal of respect for him. He's saved himself.
Yep. He got himself. No wonder he didn't want to mention her name. He didn't want Thomas to then use whatever he said on a drunken rant where he tells the world that she's had a hysterectomy and it's Trevor that told me. That's why he hung up the phone every time he talked about him, because
Well,
he knew that anything he said would be twisted.
he said he didn't Markle Senior,
Senior.
Junior
Yeah,
say that
senior.
he knew all about the hysterectomy himself
Yep, senior
before
did.
Trevor's
Yeah,
confirmed it?
of
I
course.
I'm lost in the algorithm or whatever. I thought he said it, and then he said it twice. He said Trevor
Yep,
confirmed it.
yep,
I think he's
yep. Well,
dragging Trevor in. I think he should leave Trevor alone.
I think they should too, but I think the fact that they're using Trevor the same way Harry and Meghan uses the royal family, never complain,
Yeah.
never explain. They know he won't say anything, so they can
Yes.
say he said everything.
As safe.
Yep,
God.
they can say whatever they want.
They're very quiet at the moment. When was the last Samantha's blurb came out? Have you
Hers
I
came out.
refuse.
She came out with her interview with Lady C on Easter, so that was just this past weekend. Or yeah,
Oh,
this past weekend. Gosh, it seems like forever already away.
ladies, that really sounds I mean, a lady C seems to be maybe she's getting old and stupid, but seems like a very bad move to actually have a conversation with Samantha. Is she desperate?
Well, if you ask me, there were a lot of times in that interview where it sounded an awful lot like Samantha was giving an alibi. And I
Ah,
mean, come on. If he did in fact go from Mexico to Southeast Asia, then you gotta presume he's fleeing something. So is she putting out an alibi for whatever's coming out next?
is that what she's talking about? Is that what Samantha's talking about? Her father and the Mexico and the Thailand connection? Is that
He's
what she
not
was
saying
talking
it.
about?
No, I'm
Is
saying that. That's
Oh,
I'm
you're
making that.
saying that.
That's
Right, yeah.
my allegedly in my opinion. But
What
I'm
you
just
want to
saying
she's
the
trying to cover her
way
father's tracks.
yes, because the way she was
Ah,
telling the story about the pictures and whether or not the Rainers, whichever, Jeff, Carl Larson, whoever it was that did the photos of the thing. The way she was saying it, she made very sure to make it clear. Thomas Sr. did not pick the location. Thomas Sr. did not know it was happening. That even though she arranged the whole thing, it's still Megan's fault. And this is why, because this is what her father did. This is all he did involved in this. And the way she was saying it, it just seemed as though she was putting out the story so that whatever it is that's coming next, he's innocent.
Okay, what's your oogle
I
boogle about what's coming next? What do you think she's trying to
I
camouflage?
think I think something is gonna come out about just who was involved in setting up those photos, which would then link to who? Who has the money and the influence to have done this entire thing?
The royal family,
Exactly.
right? So she's getting ready to.
I think it's coming sooner than we think. And I
Well,
don't
I
think
think I would say I would do a quote from the sci-fi show Danger, Danger. Will Robinson, run in circles,
uh, uh,
when in danger, when in doubt, run in circles, scream and shout. I think
that's it.
Samantha's screaming and shouting.
Yep. Exactly. Exactly. Because
Mm.
whether they know it or they're just worried about it, something is going to change. Because you can't prove all this and not at some point, stumble upon what the smoking gun. You know?
Well, yeah, well, I think the smoking gun's Harry's going home and there's invisible children.
Well, that's true.
And you
But
give her enough
but we
money and
have
she'll
to
just
find
shut up and
well,
disappear.
yeah. Well, I don't think she'd ever disappear because it's not just about
Well,
the money
Mrs.
for her.
Simpson did. She
It's
did.
not. I don't think it's just about the money for Megan, though.
I
It's
know it's
about
the attention,
yeah.
it's the accolades,
Yep.
it's the limelight.
Yep.
She can't stand to be out of the limelight. They won't shut her
Exactly.
up. Nothing will shut her up. No amount of money
Exactly.
will.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
frightening part. Hey,
It is.
I hate to say it. There is one way to shut her up.
Well, but we would never want anything
Well,
bad
Lord
to
Mountbatten was blown up by the Irish.
happen.
And we can bring
And
that
there's
word grooming back into the
I
conversation.
was gonna say, and that opens up a whole other can of worms there because that was probably someone saying enough is enough, and
Enough is enough.
let's
Yeah.
make the Irish do it. Let's get the Irish to do it
And they
because
were willing to take
that makes it
responsibility
political.
too. They didn't,
Yeah, they were happy
you
to
know,
do it. Yeah,
they,
they
they
probably
didn't.
did do it. They
No,
probably did
they
do it.
didn't do it. Of course they didn't do it.
You
The
don't
poor
think so?
buggers.
I assume they did. I assume that they did, and they were just doing it at someone's request.
Oh, at a request, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
Definitely a
yes,
request.
yes. And they were happy to take the rap because
Yeah.
it served their political aim. So
Yeah.
hell yeah. Put some fear in the royals that they could they could happen to them
It's
at
a
any time.
it is a dark web we're weaving.
And the sad thing is we're probably only touching the surface.
I know that's the frightening part about the whole
It really
thing.
is.
That's the frightening part about what you and I are talking about now.
Yeah.
We are talking about the surface.
Now, people, we all know that there's no way in hell YouTube is going to share this video. So please make sure to like it. And please make sure to share it
They're not
because
going to
YouTube
share it.
sure as
No, they
hell
couldn't
won't.
share it. We have opened too many dark
Touched,
cans of
yes, I was
worms.
gonna say, we have opened too many Pandora's boxes here
Absolutely. Oh, that's beautiful. Pandora's boxes.
from
Yes,
A to Z.
and out comes the serpents ooh,
Exactly,
the ugly
exactly.
demons are all swanning around in the air.
And we have now done 2.5 hours, and we can't go longer because it's bad enough. They're already going to hate me for this. I mean, seriously, if this video is still up, watch it now. Tell everybody to watch it now because it may not be here tomorrow.
It is not going to stay up tomorrow. I can tell you now.
I'd be stunned if it lasted because they're going to find anything they can. That's why I made very sure that every one of those clips of the In Touch interview, I kept every one of them, and we interrupted it before any of them got over 2 minutes. Because that
You're
right
going to
there would
get
have been their
banned.
easy. Yeah, oh, I am. Oh, I
We
am.
shouldn't have
I'm
these
gonna get in so much
conversations.
trouble.
You're going to get banned.
I am. I'm gonna get in trouble. But remember, if you like it, you want to share it because YouTube won't.
Well, share it now. Share it
Yes.
now. If you're gonna keep it,
That's
download
right.
it and share it because
Well,
it's
you know
not
what
going to
I'm gonna
stay up.
do?
I'm telling you now, it's not staying up.
I'm downloading it, and if it goes down here, OPMV will have it tomorrow. The non-monetized channel will come in handy. But we have to wrap up because it's now 2.5 hours, and they'll use that as an excuse too. But Del,
Oh.
once again, just fantastic. I'm telling you, they're going to start coming to see you, Del, and not me.
No.
They're just going to want you.
I'll come back and see you. Give me a hi
Yes.
when you want me on. I don't
More like,
mind.
and tell me, people, what's a good time? Is this good for you, Del? Obviously,
This is
would be a
great
good
for me.
time.
This is
So
really good for
then,
me.
so then this is a good time, and it'll probably be a weekday because those are the days that I have off. So either a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. It'll be this general time frame. So that's what we're going
Great.
to shoot for, people. Let's keep that in mind and keep your eyes open. And I'll see
Right.
what fun things I can come up with for next week. I don't know that I can beat the In Touch interviews. Although Cece had a good, you know what I have? Cece had a good suggestion. Not only do I have the DUI video, I also have the court hearing.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah, and I haven't shared that
Absolutely.
one yet. I haven't put that one in a video. And I have the whole DUI stop, which you've only seen clips of it. So maybe that'll be next week. That could be fun. And as I said, everybody, please like and share. Please round of applause for Dell. Thank you to Jody, our
Thank you all,
moderator.
lovely people.
Lovely chat, fantastic chat. And of
Great.
course, like and share this because no one else will see it otherwise.
Otherwise, absolutely. Clap, clap, clap,
And
clap, clap.
I will try and come up with more good stuff for next week. Thank you, Dell. Thank you, Jody. Thank you,
Okay.
everyone. And everybody
Bye
have
to
a wonderful
everyone.
night. Filled with love, laughter, and of course, lots of dancing.
Lots of
Thank you,
dancing.
Dell. Thank you, Dell.
Bye bye.
Bye, everyone.